Is the epoxy that you use
Yes.
toxic?
Right. Okay, so the thing about Orgonite, like any other device, is the main part being the epoxy is what is called or defined as a thermoplastic. Now, most of the consumer items that you have today are a form of thermoplastic, and these are plastics that are initially in liquid form, and you have to put them into a mold of some kind, either injection mold, or you just pour it into a mold, or vacuum form molds.
So like your cell phone case
Yes.
is made out of thermoplastic.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Your laptop is
Yes.
made out of thermoplastic. It's a very common thing. All of your
Consumer,
devices,
like the
consumer
casing for your
devices
vacuum
are
cleaner.
made out of thermoplastic.
These are
So
all thermoplastics.
it's the same thing that's in the Orgonite. So if
Yes.
it's toxic, then everything that you have that's a computer or a laptop or a phone is also toxic.
It's also toxic.
But it's not. It's not toxic.
It's
right?
not toxic. Like for example, during the production or the making of the Orgonite piece or of the computer casing of the whatever device you're using that has a plastic shell around it, pretty much. That phase could be toxic because when you're combining it with like a catalyst, another liquid that hardens this liquid plastic, fumes are emitted. So that's the same thing with a lot of Orgonite. With certain, if it's polyurethane, that's another kind of resin. The fumes can be made or generated during the production process. So you'd always want to make Orgonite in like a ventilated area where the air is always moving through. But after that catalytic process has ceased, then it's not toxic. I mean, you wouldn't abuse the plastic product any more than you would with the casing on your mobile phone. You can have it in the environment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So next one, can I use hempcrete or other types of materials
Yes.
in the Orgonite instead of epoxy?
Okay, so there are people who are using things like a concrete or a hempcrete, something other than epoxy resin. I think based on the research that we've done, we haven't seen any reason why you want to use that as opposed to epoxy, and the effects are not the same as you would if you use epoxy. When Wilhelm Reich first came across this discovery of there being a cosmic energy that's being stored within accumulators or devices that have layers of metal and non-metal, which is plastic and sheets of metal, there was a reason why there was those specific materials. And when we go into things like Orgonite, it's because when you put it in an epoxy, there is a force or a strain or a tension on the particulates inside that epoxy matrix. So the metals and the crystals are being squeezed in all directions. And also there is an electrical property, an insulative electrical property that's intimately connected to this Orgone energy or cosmic energy.
Wow.
And you don't get that same performance with concrete or hempcrete. Now you can use hemp from what I've been researching. You can use hemp in a form of what are now being called reinforced epoxies that have hemp in them to make the epoxy much stronger, and that might be something worthy of research. But we believe that you want to use epoxy mixed in with metal and crystals in order to get the best effect.